Hello, and welcome to ReachIvy's webinar series, Know Your Top Colleges. This speaker series helps students get insight from top colleges around the world and decipher and decode the application process. A little bit about ReachIvy. ReachIvy is a premium education and careers advisory. Over the last 6 years, we've established a strong presence among distinguished leaders in the education space. We have successful admits across schools globally, from INSEAD and LSE, Harvard, Columbia, Stanford, and many more. We've been featured in the education world, business world, economic times, and others. Some of our services include counseling, college selection, essay editing and applications, interview preps, resume review, LinkedIn review, etc. A little bit about me. I'm Aparna Marujain, and I'm a senior counselor with ReachIvy. I graduated from the London School of Economics and subsequently went on to qualify with the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales. I've worked with Deloitte in London, and then I moved to India to become an entrepreneur. Subsequently, I've worked with a lot of the investment banks and the Big Four within learning and development, and I carry with me a wealth of experience within the education and the corporate world. Hello, I'm going to introduce you to our special guest today, who I'm very excited to introduce. So we've got Miss Camille Chow, who has joined us from the IESE Business School, and she's the Associate Director of Admissions. Miss Chow is from Singapore and has spent most of her career working and traveling through Europe, Asia, and the USA. A graduate of Brown University in Rhode Island, with extensive experience in sales and marketing, hospitality, and event management. But more than anything else, she really is the best person for us to speak to today, not just because of her role at IESE, but because she's just gone through the full-time MBA program a couple of years ago. So welcome. Hola, Camille.
Hi, Aparna. Thank you so much for having me today. It's my pleasure to be here. I'm excited to be speaking to those people out there listening into this webinar.
Great. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a couple of questions to start off, okay? Can you share with us a bit of background about the IESE?
Sure, absolutely. So IESE, of course, is currently one of the top 10 best MBA programs in the world as ranked by the FT. We're located in Barcelona in Spain, and our full-time MBA program is 19 months long. I think what's important to know about us really is that we're a very mission-driven organization. And what that means is really, our mission is really who we are. It's how our programs are designed, is really the core of our DNA. And in a nutshell, our mission is to develop global leaders who have a positive impact on society. So for us, a leader is really someone who's able to manage cross-cultural teams, who's able to make important decisions under ambiguity, someone who has empathy, listening skills, someone who is able to engage and motivate other people. So, I think many of us out there are, maybe managers, you're very good at your roles now, you're good at getting things done, but, we want to help you develop your leadership potential to take that next step so that, somewhere down the line in your career, you're able to sit at the top of a, global business. And for us, in terms of having a positive impact on society, we really focus on the human aspect of doing business. So when we were founded 6 years ago, our founders felt that, the human dimension was something that was being a little bit neglected in the business world. So they wanted to bring that back in. So to us, business is not just about numbers or statistics or profits. It's really about people as well. So when you take that into consideration when you're making business decisions, they automatically become better business decisions. So I think for us as a school, we focus a lot on self-development, on people management. We don't expect everyone to work for an NGO or nonprofit after the MBA, but we would really like our, the leaders that we develop to, again, focus on this human aspect of it.
Great. And I think it's great that you've linked it to relevance, in terms of application in the corporate world, which actually leads me to my next question. Yes. Can you tell me a little bit more about the MBA program in particular? I know we've talked about experiential learning, and IESE is really famous, because the MBA program does include a lot of case-based work and experiential learning and stuff. But just, if you could cover what the curriculum roughly covers, what the teaching style is, and distinct features of the program.
Sure, absolutely. So as I mentioned, our program is 19 months long. It's a little bit longer because we believe it takes time to develop your leadership skills, and you don't just become a leader overnight. So for us, our focus is general management. So that means that everyone graduates with the same MBA degree. There's no specialization. And again, for us, we believe a leader is someone who understands business holistically, and that's why we choose to adopt this approach. We believe that you have to understand all the different business functions, whether it's operations, marketing, finance, strategy, and how they're all related. Because in the real world, all these business functions are all interconnected, and they never exist in isolation. So for our program, in the first year, it's a core curriculum. You don't get to choose your classes. Everyone takes the same classes regardless of your backgrounds. So for example, I was sitting in an accounting class. I've never taken accounting before, and there were accountants in the class with 4 to 5 years work experience. But the idea is that when you're sitting in a classroom with people from all types of nationalities and all types of backgrounds, that you're, really broadening your exposure. You're learning different approaches to solving a business problem. So that's really how the first year is structured. So we don't want anyone to be only a specialist. After the first year, in the second year, that's when it's really kind of the opposite. The first year is very rigid and structured. In the second year is completely flexible. We leave it up to you to customize it however you like. So you have the option of staying in Barcelona to take elective courses. We have over 100 elective courses. And you can choose to focus on whatever your interest may be. We also offer the option of an exchange program with top business schools all around the world, including in the US, in Europe, and in Asia. So you can spend 3 months, in a different country and really getting a dual, experience during the MBA. So we consider ourselves a global business school, and so we don't want to, talk just about business sitting in a classroom in Spain. We give you a lot of opportunity to actually go to these places and experience it firsthand. We also offer overseas modules. These are 2-week modules on some of our overseas campuses in New York, Sao Paulo, Nairobi, and Shanghai. So these 2-week courses are related to that specific region. So for instance, if you are in New York, you're taking classes related to the media industry and to the finance industry, because Wall Street is right there. I went on the Africa module, and there we did a consulting project for a local company, and again, getting to really understand what doing business in emerging economy is like. So there are lots of opportunities to do that in the second year. And of course, between the first and second year, there is a summer internship. So it is mandatory to do a summer internship. You can choose to do whatever internship you like. And for those of you who are interested in switching careers, I think having an internship is really critical, to help you really find, what your long-term career path is. It's really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to try something new and also to gain relevant experience in a new industry. So I think, it's a really valuable opportunity.
That's very useful because it actually puts into perspective a lot of, again, back to what you started off with, and it tells you what a typical year is going to look like. You talked about switching careers and just how, that internship sometimes is the pivot point for that.
Yes.
What are some of the facilities available to students who want to switch careers or pursue entrepreneurial interests whilst on the program?
Sure. So I think those are 2 separate topics. So in terms of career switchers, statistically speaking, if you look at the most recent class, we had about 85% of our students who successfully changed one aspect of their career, if not more. So that's either their function, their industry, or their geography. And out of that 85%, I think close to 25% managed to successfully change all 3. So those are pretty big numbers. And so we're doing something right to help people really achieve that. And I think the way the program is designed with the general management focus, it really exposes you to all types of companies, all types of industries, and really helps students to explore other options. Because when you first join the MBA, I think you can only aspire towards something that you know. And when you're in a school like IESE, where first of all the students come from all types of backgrounds, all types of nationalities. And the companies that come to recruit at our school also come from really all over the world, and are recruiting from different industries that you really see what's out there. And of course, we have a career services team on campus, and we have career services directors who are in charge of specific sectors, be it finance or consulting, or healthcare, consumer goods. And they organize lots of activities to help students, get knowledge in a specific industry. There's mentorship programs between the second years and the first years. Of course, there's also lots of skills and labs workshops to help students develop skills that they'll need to succeed in their career. Because I think at the end of the day, we want to help you in your lifelong career, which is going to last for many, many more years, even after the MBA. And it's not just about getting that one job after the MBA and that's it. So we have whether it's CV writing workshops, cover letter writing, even how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, things like that. And these take place continuously throughout the 19 months. Besides that, of course, there are also many student-led clubs, whether they're on the professional side or the cultural side. But in terms of the professional clubs, for example, the consulting clubs, they do lots of mock interviews, they'll invite companies and alumni to come and speak to the students so students understand the differences between each firm. Again, lots of activities in this area. So I think that's how students are really able to successfully switch their careers. And in terms of entrepreneurship, we consider that one of our core pillars. So it's really integrated into the curriculum. While we do understand not everybody wants to start their own business, we feel that actually entrepreneurial skills are very valuable. And a lot of corporate organizations value this within the organization itself because, I think creativity, persistence, resourcefulness, qualities like this are actually, of course, very valuable amongst employees. So in that sense, in the first year, as I mentioned, in the core curriculum, there are entrepreneurship classes that are already built in. Beyond that, we have a lot of resources devoted to this area as well. We have a summer entrepreneurship experience where a student can get hands-on experience on building their own business, whether it's their own business idea or working in teams and helping some of their classmates with theirs. All this is done under the mentorship of a professor who will guide you. So you spend 10 to 12 weeks on campus in Barcelona working on your business idea. Following that, during the course of this program, the professor will invite lots of local entrepreneurs to come speak to you, to give you feedback on your idea, and of course, lots of investors as well. So it's really getting very hands-on practical experience and going through the whole process and understanding what it's about. And beyond that, we've seen some students even continue developing their businesses during the second year of the program. We also have Finaves, which is an angel fund that was started by alumni to invest in businesses started by students. So far, the fund has already invested about $12 million in about 40 companies started by students of the school. And recently, we launched the fifth fund of 3 million euros. And they give anywhere between 50,000 euros to 300,000 euros to companies started by students. So this is a network that our students and alumni have access to. And beyond that, we of course have an entrepreneurship and innovation center. So just lots of activities in this area.
So this is great to know because even as soon as students start at IESE and as they go through the program, there's so many things that just completely change the way they view things. Yes. And it's great to know that there are all these resources and support that's available. Mm-hmm. And this is something that they can be thinking about as they go through their program. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So which is, again, who are the students that you're looking for in the sense that, is there any specifics with, the upcoming class that you're looking for in terms of grades or work experience, gender ratio, or anything else?
Sure, absolutely. So currently, our class intake is 350 students. That is really one of the smallest class size amongst the top business schools. We choose to keep it that way because we like to take a personal approach to our students. As I mentioned, our students actually come from all types of backgrounds, all types of nationalities. We welcome diversity. That's part of the value of our MBA. It's really knowing that you're going to be entering a class with people that you'll never imagine that you would work with. And the idea is, of course, to broaden your exposure and to really elevate your perspective to a global one. For us, and again, why is diversity important? So it's not just for marketing purposes that we just want a lot of nationalities in class. We are a global business school. For us, being global is part of who we are. It's an attitude. It's not just about the numbers. And again, because you had mentioned that our strength is in the case method style of teaching. Going what the case method really is about is figuring out how to solve a real business problem, but in a very safe environment, in a classroom environment. And how does this help you develop your leadership potential? It's really about building those soft skills. So it's really about understanding how do you approach a business problem? What are some of the criteria you have to take? How do you develop a decision-making process? Also, how do you work in teams? A lot of the work that a lot of the work in the MBA is done in teams. A lot of it's project work, a lot of it's group work. So it's really learning to work with people, again, from all types of backgrounds, and learning how to communicate with them. And also when you're in a classroom, a professor is leading the discussion. It's very active style of learning. And the learning comes from, your peers and not just a professor lecturing at you, which I think is what some of us are very used to here in Asia. So really, presenting your opinion, defending it, really convincing other people of it is really how we develop your leadership potential. And again, knowing that everyone is different from you, because there's no point if everyone's going to present the same opinion as you in the classroom.
Yeah, absolutely.
And beyond that, of course, beyond the diversity, what we really look for as a school is the motivation of our students and, commitment to ESA. We know that there are lots of great schools out there, so why are you choosing us? And when we talk about being a good fit or a right match, I think the match comes in terms of what you are looking for in terms of a program and what we can offer. So I think, first of all, you need to have some kind of clarity in terms of what program you're looking for. That does take some time to achieve, and I know that's why counselors like yourself, I think, Aparna, are very important because you help guide students in that sense. And of course, on the flip side, knowing the school and really understanding who we are and what we can offer you, how that can achieve your goals, I think that's important as well. So a lot of our students, engage with us, they attend our events, they speak to our alumni, they reach out to the admissions team. I think that's quite important. And of course, I think our students tend to be quite well-rounded. We want to get to know who you are. We like to see that you have interests and you have passions, whether it's at work or outside of work. I think some people get a little bit concerned or tied up with, GMAT scores. So of course, that is one aspect we look at, but, that's not the only thing we look at. Again, the people element is so important in our program that, even if you have a, super high GMAT or a very solid CV, if we see that, you don't really work well with other people, that's, maybe we're not the right program for you.
Great. And that's very, very useful in terms of people who are looking, who've already started their application process or are looking to start. Mm-hmm. So talking about the application process, there's two questions on the form this year.
Yes.
They're both quite interesting and open-ended. So the first one, in fact, is, and I just want to get a sense of, can you just talk us through it? Because they're both very open-ended. It's almost like, you're willing to listen to anything that the applicant's happy to tell you. So
yes.
Tell us.
Sure. So I think we choose to keep the questions a bit open-ended because, at the end of the day, as I mentioned, we want to know who you are. Again, it's not really about what we want to hear. So I think the essay questions ultimately are always an exercise in self-reflection, I think the hardest part is really spending the time to think about it. I think, for one question, when we ask about, who do you see when you look in the mirror, it's really essentially about your own strengths and weaknesses. It may sound quite simple, but as I mentioned, I think some people really struggle with it. We are looking for really an honest, genuine answer. We're looking for self-awareness from your part. So really, again, we leave it up to what you want to share with us. In the end, I think the application is your story. And, of course, so we also have an optional essay or video that you can submit. Again, it is optional for a reason. We don't expect you to do it if you don't feel that you have anything else to add in the application. Some people really feel that their stories they really want to share with us, something personal or professional, and that's what that option is for. I think, and people also are very concerned about, not being video professionals when submitting the video essay. Again, we're not looking for, your video editing qualities really. We're looking at, of course, the content. You can be as creative as you want. You can also just speak into the camera. But again, it's really for you to show us who you are. So we leave that to you.
Okay, good to know. Thank you for that. Every year we get students who have previously applied on their own and are now reapplying through ReachIvy because they're very, very committed to IESE. Is there any advice for students who are reapplying?
Sure. So first of all, I want to say we definitely welcome reapplicants. As you mentioned, it shows your commitment to IESE, and we're happy to see that. So what we do like to see is, how you have really improved your candidature from the previous year, or what you've done differently. For some, I think, let's just say if your application did not make it through the first time, sometimes it's just a strategic error, let's say, because, if you apply in the later rounds, it does get very competitive. And we have much fewer spots left. And, as I mentioned, if, the value of our program is in the diversity. So we have, too many similar profiles, we can't accept too many people. So if you reapply and you apply in the earlier rounds, that already is an advantage, for example. So, I think it's important to think about things like that. It's always better to apply in the early rounds. So we have 4 rounds of admissions, and the second round deadline is coming up in January. And so, again, we like to see how, you've really worked on your application since the previous year, whether it's developing your work experience, your professional experience, or, on the personal side.
Okay, thanks for that. What about financial aid? Is there any type of financial aid available to international students applying for the program?
Yes.
So can you tell us who the ideal candidate to apply for this would be?
Sure. So first of all, we offer many scholarships. I'm very pleased to say that this year we have increased our scholarship budget significantly. So because we want to help more people. And so I would definitely encourage you to apply early again. We tend to give out most of our scholarships in the first 2 rounds. With the scholarships, they're typically merit-based. So you have to submit a scholarship essay explaining why you think you're deserving of a scholarship and how you're contributing to the class. With these scholarships, we have many scholarships meant for women or people from emerging economies or people with families. Definitely, if you fall into one of those categories, certainly, you're eligible to apply for the scholarships. We also work with a couple of organizations for financial aid. You can find more details on our website. But these are very popular options for many of our students, and many of them do take up loans during the program.
Okay. And just staying with the topic of international students, is there specific career guidance and placement that you offer to them?
Sure. So for us, as I mentioned, on the way the career services team is structured, we have a team that is based in Barcelona. And as I mentioned, they cover different sectors, and we also focus on career management. So again, helping you develop the skills that you need to succeed in your career. Because at the end of the day, the students are the ones going for the interviews. What is a little unique about our school is that we also have satellite offices located all around the world. So for instance, I'm based in Singapore. So besides MBA admissions, I also cover career services. So any student who's interested in working in the region, I'm able to connect them with the local recruiters. I'm on the ground. I'm able to really get firsthand information on, what is happening in the business landscape here. I have colleagues who sit in Tokyo, in Shanghai, in Hong Kong, Sao Paulo, New York, and they do similar things. So in this sense, we do recognize that our students come from everywhere and they want to work everywhere. And there really isn't any cookie cutter approach that we can take. So this is something that we invest in. We want to help our students, achieve their career goals. And that's why we have this set up. And as far as I know, I don't believe any other, top school does this. So that's something that, of course, is a work in progress. But, we, again, want to help our students as much as possible.
Yeah, so it sounds like the emphasis really is on international diversity and,
Yes.
ways of how to promote it and really help students from everywhere.
And we really, as I mentioned, we like to take a personal approach with our students. So even on the admissions side, we do a lot of one-on-one counseling. On the career services side, we do a lot of one-on-one counseling as well. We have an open door policy with the students. They can schedule as many counseling sessions as they like, even with the professors. That's why we choose to keep the class size small so that we can take this approach. We like to have a tight community. And that's why, again, everyone on the admissions team is an alumni, besides myself, all my other colleagues as well. So we really are very invested in, protecting the culture of the school. And again, it's a conscious decision that we take. We call it the ESE family. So, you're an alumni for life, right? So we take it very seriously.
Okay. And I'm sure you get asked this a lot, but how do people manage with Spanish as a language if they're not, already speaking it or fluent even?
So our entire program is conducted in English. So Spanish language, is not required. But we do offer an excellent business Spanish program during the MBA. It is optional, so you can take it or not. 2 weeks before the MBA starts, we offer an intensive business Spanish classes. So this is really enough to help you get around. And then during the MBA, if you wish to continue, you can do so. It is a certified course. So if you finish up to a certain level and you pass, on your MBA degree, it says you have a bilingual degree. So again, this is really a big bonus of, studying in Spain. And of course, if you finish early enough in the program, you can choose to take some of the electives in the second year in Spanish as well.
Yeah, and I think that opens up so many more markets, and a language, particularly at this stage of the career, is particularly great.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so my last question, and this is not a trick question, but as somebody who's alumnus as well as on admissions,
Yes.
if you had any advice to give students interested in applying to the program, what would it be?
I would say for sure, engage with the school, talk to people. I know some of you are, not located in big cities or, the school, you may not have as many opportunities to meet with alumni and things like that, but reach out on LinkedIn. We're very friendly people. It really doesn't hurt. It's not as scary as it sounds. And of course, on the admissions team, we're happy to speak with you. So on our website, we offer feedback on your profile. So if you send us your CV, we'll give you informal feedback. That's something that we offer to all the students. So I think, that's what helped me make my choice when I chose CSA. I had a friend who went there, and she just raved so much about it. And I met other alumni as well. And at the end of the day, you're choosing what community you want to be a part of. And I think the website, blogs, and things like that are a good start. But there's nothing like talking to alumni and really getting the firsthand experience. So, I think this sounds cliche and many people say this, but I think it is really, really essential to really engage with real people.
Yeah. And what's particularly good is coming from you, it also sort of, outlines where the line between too much, too much and too little is.
Right.
Crossing the line by bombarding them with emails, and how many emails is too many. So that's good to know that you are very welcoming of any information that students seek or want to give you.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, well, it's been fantastic having you speak to us, Camille. Thank you so much for your time and for
Thank you for having me. It's always nice to work with ReachIvy, so really appreciate the opportunity.
Great. Thank you. Okay.